Okay, welcome to quarter two. This is just an overview for quarter two, what we're going to cover. Most of you have already been here through quarter one, so there's not much new to you, but I just want to go over the units we're going to be covering, and then this will finish out our semester. So there's 3 units. Analytic trigonometry is our first unit, and that's just going to be building on the trigonometric unit we just had in unit 3. This is also our GVC number 2, which is our big rock, important thing to know. So pay attention to this. It's important stuff. Then we have complex numbers and polar coordinates, and then vectors. So in Unit 4 analytic trigonometry, we're going to use what we know about trigonometric functions and identities to solve equations and inequalities. And if you'll notice, we have, we're going to go over law of sines, law of cosines. Then we've got these identities. So there's difference identities and sum identities. And we're going to have a quiz over that first half. And then we'll talk about double angle identities, half angle identities, and then solving trigonometric equations and inequalities. And then there will be a trig show your work assignment instead of a quiz in this one. So you will actually download a thing and you will have to solve some problems and show me your work as you're doing this. The next unit is complex numbers and polar coordinates. And complex numbers, if you remember, those like I. So we're going to perform operations, do distance and midpoint, polar form, and graphing polar equations. Then we'll have a quiz on that. And then we'll get down to adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and powers and roots of complex numbers, and then have a quiz on that. And then again, at the end of each unit, there will be a test. So if you remember, what are imaginary solutions? If you remember, I is equal to the square root of -1. So I to the first power is I squared is -1, I to the third is a negative I, and I to the fourth is 1. And then it just reiterates. So there are iterations. So I to the fifth would be I, and so forth. So when you're looking at a graph of a parabola, there's either 0, 1, or 2 real solutions. And so if we're in the complex plane, so in this case, if the parabola does not cross the graph, there are going to be 2 imaginary solutions. So that's what we're looking at in the complex plane. And then finally, unit 6 is vectors. So we're going to learn about vectors of their components, addition and subtraction. And then we're going to take a little deeper look at the law of sines and cosines and then applying vectors and dot product and work, and have a couple of quizzes and a unit test, and then you'll be done. So again, just so you remember, guided notes are available at the beginning of each unit. So when you click on the unit, so unit 3 will have guided notes, and you can click on guided notes and it will have all of the lessons available. I think there may be 1 or 2 lessons where there are no guided notes available, and if they're not, it will just say unavailable. And remember, when you open the guided notes, it's just basically it's the lesson, and you can fill in the blank and graph or do different things to help you. Also, you can just use this as a guide and take notes in your notebook. You can print these out and keep a notebook of these and just fill in the blanks. And then you can see that there's plenty of space otherwise to make other notations, things that you want to remember that help you remember them. The third way is you can do it digitally. So if you use the Kami extension, Kami, and then you come in here, then they have highlighters. You can add shapes and drawings of your own or text boxes, and then you can just type. So the native set of values for which function is defined. And you can type that in, and then it will save it. And then you can have a digital copy if some of you like digital notes. So again, notes, it's important. It seems weird in math to take notes, but it really is helpful. It helps your brain remember what's going on, and then it helps you see things differently. So I highly encourage you to take notes, whether it's using the guided notes, whether it's using your own notes, whether it's digital or not digital, just use notes. And then finally, the key word for this overview is complex. So in Canvas, when you need to submit your answer for this, go in and type the word complex, and then you should move on and good to go. I just want to remind you of all the resources that I have available on your Canvas course, also on my website. You can make an appointment with me. You can call and text me. You can send me a screenshot of a problem you want and request a video. I'm happy to help you. So please don't wait till the end. Just reach out when you need it and stay on pace, and you're going to be great. Good luck.